Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of First Impression Sports Talk. I'm Jasmine Pollock, the host, and we're going to get into a lot of things regarding the NFL and the NBA, so let's get started.
Welcome to Jasmine Pollock's First Impression Sports Talk, the fastest growing sports talk show in the country. And now, here's your host, Jasmine Pollock.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to First Impression Sports Talk. To kick the day off, we're going to talk about the Pittsburgh sports. So I have my good friend Cole and I have Jeremiah. We're going to talk a little bit before we get into Tom Brady announcing his retirement, before we get into the Kyrie Irving trade and LeBron being 36 points away from breaking the all-time scoring record in the NBA. So let's bring in Cole. Let's bring in Jeremiah. So Cole, welcome. Hello. How are you?
I'm good.
I could tell by your voice there's some stuff going on in Pittsburgh. So let's just get it all on the table. The Pittsburgh Steelers are keeping Matt Canada, which happens to be their offensive coordinator. Cole, you have the floor. What are your thoughts on this, and what is going on in Pittsburgh?
All right, Pittsburgh. So I know you guys are starting to be okay with mediocrity, and that's totally fine because there's still people that think that we should bring back Matt Canada because the offense got better. Well, I don't know if you guys looked at these stats, but it's not good. So let me just run through the teams as to who fired their offensive coordinator and or are going to be hiring an offensive coordinator because the head coach took those responsibilities. Cowboys, Chargers, Bucks, Patriots, Jets, Rams, Colts, Commanders, Ravens, Titans. So 4 of those teams made the playoffs. Cowboys, Chargers, Bucks, Ravens. The Steelers finished with 308 points for the season total. Averaged 200.6 yards per game. 7th worst in points per game in 2022. 12th worst in points per game in 2021. They didn't score over 30 points once this season. So let me just ask this question. Should we give Matt Canada just a free pass? No. What else hasn't happened in Pittsburgh in the Steelers? Mike Tomlin has only won 3 playoff games in 12 years. But that's all right. Pittsburgh gives them a pass. A lot of fans do here. So I don't care about how, he ran into a hot team. That is such an excuse. It's such an excuse. I hate that excuse. To win the Super Bowl, you must beat the best. You must beat the hot teams. So if Tomlin can't beat him, it's all right. He gets a pass. 3 playoff wins in 12 years just isn't a very good record. I know there's teams that haven't done so hot either in the playoffs. But this is also Pittsburgh, and the Steelers have a high tradition of success. This stuff does go on in other cities, but the Steelers having 6 Super Bowls, having so many Hall of Famers go through and play for the Steelers, this stuff just isn't going to sit all right with me. So what should happen? Matt Canada should have his job fired literally the day after the season. I wouldn't have even have him left the building without him being fired. It's kind of ridiculous, to be completely honest with you, but that's all right. The Steelers have to give him another pass because the offense got better towards the end of the season, which it did. But I'm not going to go and negate all these facts. He should have been fired, and they should have looked at someone else outside the organization. Now, if it's all right with Jasmine and Jeremiah, I'm going to move on into the other 2 franchises in Pittsburgh.
Let's talk about it.
So now I'm going to get in the Penguins because the Pirates are last, and they will always be last in Pittsburgh. The Penguins are first, in my opinion. They are my favorite team. The Steelers are second. And the Pirates, they are just irrelevancy, and they're irrelevant by midseason. So what's wrong with the Penguins? They might not make the playoffs this year.
And they started out hot.
Yes.
And they started out hot. Then they go to Western Canada, and they lose 7 games in a row.
Wow.
So they start very slow. They like to give up the first goal. They're stale. And they can't finish a game. If you want to make the playoffs and you want to go far in the playoffs, you better be able to win close games and be able to protect a lead. The Penguins can't do that. So if they do make the playoffs, they're losing in the first round again. And if they do, with Crosby, Malkin, Letang still, I wouldn't have brought back Malkin because some of these issues are general manager Ron Hextall, who's been missing in action for the past 8 months. That's his own doing. Does he even live in Pittsburgh? Like, honestly. Oh, but he had a press conference yesterday. It's actually good to see him. Really is. Because he's been missing in action. He's done nothing. But there's not much he can do as well because he created all this mess. Created a lot of it. $900,000 in cap space is what the Penguins currently have. Not a lot of wiggle room at all. So it's not like he really can do much. He decided to bring back Jeff Carter. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's so slow. I mean, he's 37 years old. But let's bring him back.
Right.
Malcolm, let's bring him back. Letang, let's bring him back. There is only one untouchable in this Penguins franchise, and that's Sidney Crosby.
Absolutely.
Untouchable. You don't even move him. He's not even up for discussion. So they shouldn't have brought back Malkin. They should have changed the team up a little bit. I still thought that if they brought back the same core, they'd still be a playoff team. Right now, I can't say that. I just can't. They are one right now. They don't have much wiggle room. There's teams right below them.
Right.
The Penguins have 57 points that I just looked at earlier today, and Buffalo has 56 points. Buffalo is right on them, and they're a younger team. The Penguins are an older team, and they could have changed this team up a little bit, got a new second-line center, not bring back Malkin, and you know what? Maybe not bring back Letang either. Maybe it was time to split up the core. Everybody likes nostalgia.
Yes.
I get that. But you know what? People must start to understand that sometimes change is necessary. Sometimes you need change. So the Penguins, they might not make the playoffs. It's like, I believe they were on I should have double checked this, but I believe before this, they've made the playoffs 17 straight years in a row. Now that's awesome.
Yeah.
They were one of the most dominant teams in the 21st century, hands down, so far.
Absolutely. I agree with that.
Third, they've had 3 Stanley Cups and that's successful, and they won 1 back-to-back. Yep. But if you think this team currently is close to those teams in 16 and 17, you are so badly mistaken. It's not even close. But now we're going to move on to the Pirates. Oh, well, that's great.
What's going on with the Pirates? Because I know you've been on their necks for a long time.
I've been on their necks for a long time, and everything I've said about them, I have just been so slam dunk correct on.
Absolutely.
So what do the Pirates do? Let's bring back McCutcheon. Good signing. I agree with it. It's going to sell tickets, sell some tickets. But if you think they're going to be selling tickets when they might be 10 games under 500, I do not believe they will lose 100 games this year. So that's a step in the right direction.
Okay.
But if you think they're going to be selling tickets when they're 10 games under 500, in middle of the season, people aren't going to show up.
No.
They're just not going to show up. Sorry to hear the bad news, Pirate fans. But what else is great? Their 2021 first-round draft pick, I've heard from multiple people with sources that I have. He's not even supposed – a lot of scouts don't even think he can be a big league catcher. We drafted him in the first overall pick in 2021. So what else, Pittsburgh? So the Steelers aren't going to win the Super Bowl next year. The Penguins might not make the playoffs, and the Pirates probably are not making the playoffs. And I would almost say that's a definite they're not making the playoffs because they're not there yet. They did have a better offseason, but also, too, they have no pitching prospects. They have one in the top 100. They have one. And that guy's not even, they're not even projecting him to be an ace.
Wow.
So, yeah, so the Pirates, we can all go, and I know you have those fanboys in the media who never slam them for doing anything wrong. I want people to know this. They don't deserve any praise. What did they do after 2015? They blew the team up when they were one starting pitcher away. They were one starting pitcher away from winning a World Series.
Yes.
One. And what did they do? They decided to blow the team up right after that year and decide to go through a rebuild. The owner doesn't spend any money. He's not going to spend any money. And he does have money to spend because the value of the organization is at like $1.2 billion right now.
Yes.
And when he bought the team,
very expensive team,
it wasn't much. So he's really he's really made a lot of money on that team, but he doesn't care about the on-the-field product. The Pirates are okay with mediocrity. They don't like to win. They will never like to win until that owner is gone. So, yeah, Pittsburgh, I'm going to get massive heel heat. I might get more heel heat than Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble when he turned on Sami Zayn. But you know what? It's all right, Pittsburgh. Enjoy mediocrity because right now the Steelers look like they're in the best position because they have 3 picks in like the top 50.
Okay.
So that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Great. You have 17. You have pick 32. I'm just going to call it a first-round pick this year because that's what it is pretty much. And then you have pick, it's either 49 or 51 in the second round. Right. So, you know what? They can get 3 really good players.
For sure.
For sure. There's no doubt about it. But to go and to say that they're going to be that much of a better team, see what the offseason does. Let's see what they do in the draft. But so far, Pittsburgh sports is not in the best state.
Well, Cole, I mean, could they also, like the Steelers, knowing that with their picks and stuff, could they also, trade up in the draft to try to get even a better prospect player?
Like, Steelers need a coordinator. They need a coordinator, and they need some O-line. Okay,
yes,
they need to clean house in that department.
Yes.
And with the rookie quarterback how they had last year, your O-line, and then Najee has not lived up to the hype like I thought he would.
He hasn't.
Even though, I mean, he was a very dynamic runner, of course, in Alabama. So, I mean, you're running behind a very good offensive line, and you got a good quarterback that can get the ball, but he has underperformed. That has a lot to do with how the offense is running. And also the O-line. The O-line has been an issue for the Steelers. And they need some help. They need some help. I mean, I'm sure they can draft some very good players because I think this draft is going to be very good, but Matt Canada is not the answer.
Yeah.
No, they can get some good guards in this draft, if anything.
Yes.
Especially some old line.
To answer your question, Jeremiah, I would not trade up. I would stay put because my big reason to that is so you need 4 positions right now that are big needs. Inside linebacker because Devin Bush sucks. Interior defensive tackle.
Yes.
Because Cam Hayward is getting a lot older, and he's very close to retirement.
That's true.
And they weren't very good at stopping the run.
Not at all.
Cornerback, offensive tackle. I don't think guard is as big of a need, to be completely honest with you. I think tackle is more of a need because Dan Moore, he's a bust. He is not going to be a starter in the NFL.
I mean, and listen, this is coming from a Pittsburgh fan, people. This is not someone just speaking. He is a passionate Pittsburgh fan. So, of course, if I'm him, I'd be irritated too. I'm irritated. Look at
Steelers, Pirates, all of them. They need to be hearing this. They need to be hearing all of this.
Absolutely. Yeah, and for any of those people that think I'm wrong on all this stuff and just like mediocrity, I'm just going to let people know I've been watching sports a lot of my life so far. I'm a sport management major. I'm no idiot. I know what I'm talking about.
Well said. Well said. But that is from a Pittsburgh fan. And Cole, he is speaking about what's going on in Pittsburgh and the Pittsburgh organization. They have to get it together because this is a very big sports city. It's a very competitive sports city. And it is sad that the fans are not getting that competitive spirit from them. I mean, we know the Steelers to be one of the most dynamic franchises in history. You know, the Pirates, the Penguins. I mean, these are very historic franchises, and they're not performing well. So let's get into another conversation. Let's talk about the Buccaneers for a minute, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So they're in rebuild mode now because Tom Brady announced his retirement via Instagram. So let's bring up a clip, a short little picture that we have of Tom Brady waving off the crowd. Yes, this picture right here. Now, I was under the impression that Tom Brady would maybe go elsewhere, maybe Vegas, maybe the 49ers, because they're having quarterback issues as we speak. The Raiders, obviously, because Derek Carr, he's out of the door. Just a lot of conversations going on. But Tom Brady finally says, I am done. So, Jeremiah, I want to start with you. What was your reaction to Tom Brady? And does this feel real to you? We thought, maybe he would go to the podium and say, guys, I'm thankful for the organization. I'm thankful for he did it via Instagram, sitting on the beach.
Yes, which was pretty strange. Mostly you don't know when it comes to Brady ending it, especially on that note as he did with the last loss against the Cowboys. But still at the same time, I think Brady just knew in the back of his head, it's maybe time just for me to move on. I have these certain other goals. And I let a lot of things pass because of me trying to keep forcing and playing, knowing that I may be affecting a lot of things that's outside of football. And I feel like right now, even with hearing him as he was just saying, as he was going to go into the Fox network and then go into in the fall of 2024, he's trying to accomplish a lot of different goals. I just feel in his mind that he just wants to set. And, I'm just really proud of him because I think he deserves that. I feel like he doesn't need any more frustration and stuff. I know those 2 Super Bowls are still sitting on his head that he does want to get another Super Bowl. So I know he's sitting there and I know he's contemplating coming back. I know that his mind is not really all the way made up, but I think he's going to stay situated and just stay retired and also just find a new thing in this analysis thing.
And absolutely. And then Tom Brady's the GOAT. He's the greatest to do it. Now, unfortunately, I never rooted for him. The teams he was on, I'm not fond of, but I still respect him. He is one of the greatest competitors that sports has ever seen. His ability to analyze defenses, his ability to just have comeback wins and just will a team to victory. In my lifetime, I've never seen a player like that will a team the way he did and did it for 23 years. But let's read off some of Tom Brady's accomplishments. Obviously, we know he's a 7-time Super Bowl champion. He went to 10 Super Bowls. He is a 5-time Super Bowl MVP. He is a 3-time NFL MVP, and he's the NFL's all-time leading passer ever in history. And during his career, he earned $333 million on the field. So this man, he was known to take a lot of pay cuts because he wanted to continue to re-sign players, get players on his team, and just he was that type of player. But we are going to see now, it's sad because now the generation that we grew up off of is leaving. They're retiring. These guys are, we have the Mahomes now, the Josh Allens, the Jalen Hurts, the Tuas, the Lamar Jacksons, the Joe Burrows. We're having those guys now, and it's sad to see because it was like, dang, like we grew up with Brady. That's all we saw was him because as long as we've been alive, he's been playing. So it's just like, dang, these guys are really leaving. And the last two really standing is Matt Ryan and Aaron Rodgers. Those are the last two veterans that we can say that are still standing. And it's sad because you want to savor these moments, regardless of who your team is, regardless of, who you support. It's still sad seeing that these generation of quarterbacks leaving. They transcended the game, and now we have the young guns coming in, and they're doing their thing. So it's a sad, bittersweet moment,
Right.
even though there's a part of me saying, yes, Brady's gone. And there's another part that's like, dang, like he's really gone. Like this is it. Like that was it. So it's insane. But Cole, to you, Tom Brady has the deal with Fox, to do some analyzing, doing some commentating. Now, me personally, I don't see Tom Brady in that position. I see Tom Brady as a general manager someday. I see him in the front office because of how his mind is and how he's able to just do different things. Where do you see Tom Brady, and what do you think he will embark on now that he's in retirement?
Yeah, I honestly, I would continue to kind of put that out there to see Tom Brady potentially get to the front office. I mean, he has a great football mind. He was a quarterback. That's the hardest position in football, hands down.
Right.
He's no idiot. He really isn't. I don't like him. I don't like his fans. Just going to put that out there too. I'm also a Steelers fan, so like
exactly, absolutely.
But I don't like Brady at all. Never liked him. Never liked him when he was with Tampa. I have my own opinions about it, but I'll save that for
another issue. We have our opinions about him, but
But I also have to say too, I just saw that he finally just came out with some mental health issues. I don't know if anybody else saw that. But Tom Brady obviously decided to do what he felt was best for him. It's his retirement. It's not anybody else's.
Absolutely.
How he decides to retire, I think we should respect that.
Right.
He's earned it. All right. He's had a really long career. I don't like him, but he did earn that, to retire the way he wants to, wherever that scene may be. But I saw too that he will go to the broadcast booth in 24, and he's going to take a year off, probably to help get himself right.
Absolutely.
I don't like Tom Brady, as I've continued to say, but I do wish him the best in his treatment for mental health issues. That's a very serious issue, and I don't wish any ill will on him, and I hope that he gets better soon. So we'll see what happens with Brady. But I think he's going to do a very good job in the booth as well.
Absolutely.
I really think that his insight on the game, I think he would do a wonderful job in the booth. I really like Greg Olson now too. I still like Tony Romo.
Yeah, very phenomenal.
But we'll see what Brady does. I mean, I would really like to see Drew Brees in the booth, be a color commentator, just because. I mean, I really don't like Collinsworth. I just don't. And I think it's time for a little bit of change. And seeing Breeze in the booth with his insight, and then maybe as Tom Brady as an analyst, I think it could be really good, to be honest with you.
I would love that. Would be really cool. I would love see Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, and Eli and Brady do something collectively, because all of those guys have that mentality. They see the game differently than a lot of people do. They were phenomenal quarterbacks. I mean, Super Bowl winning quarterbacks having a conversation, even battled each other for many a year. So I would love for them to have their own show, and we could sit there and see that. But what you mentioned about Tom Brady's mental health, being that we saw this great career that he's had, you know, the 7 Super Bowls, been to 10, the MVPs, the records, just the glitz and glam, just what he's done. There was still things that he went through, especially this year, you know, with the divorce. He wanted to keep his wife. You know, there was a report she's the one that went forward with that and saying, I'm done. And that played, I'm sure 100% that played a role in his mental health and how he played on the field. Of course, that had a lot of effect on him. But it's just, now I'm glad that Tom Brady can like, you know, now he there's nothing anyone can say, even though we may not have been fans of him, even though we may not have liked the teams he played for, or him particularly on the field. But now, when it's all said and done, we may not ever see someone go 10 Super Bowls like the way he did in a span of 23 years. I don't think we'll ever see that. I think, and then a guy winning 7. I mean, I don't know. We may not ever see that, but it's just, he can go back when it's all said and done. I'm good. I'm going to relax, spend time with my family. Maybe him and Giselle may rekindle something. Maybe that's probably what he wants to do also, like, you know, just trying to get his wife back. But this is the time. This is his moment. This is what he deserves. Heck of a career, 23 years of dominance, literally. And now you can relax and just do whatever you want because he is the greatest to do it. He is the greatest. I hate to say that, but he is the greatest to do it. But Cole, before we go to break, Super Bowl Sunday is coming up. This Sunday is the Super Bowl in Arizona. Eagles versus Chiefs. Who do you have and why?
Yeah, so just to finish, I just have one more point to add to the Tom Brady thing. You know, I think this is a very good thing for mental health. Him coming out, you know, it just shows that he's human too.
Yes.
It just shows that he's human, you know, and for him to go out and admit that may help other people.
Absolutely.
You know, and hopefully too that he will become an advocate for that, a big time advocate for that, just because there is not mental health in America is not in a good state. But going on to the Super Bowl, I got to go with the Chiefs. I'm picking the Chiefs. I think it's a toss up. This is that one Super Bowl to toss up. I like the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback right now. You know, and it's I think just with the Chiefs and the amount of weapons they have on offense, I'm gonna pick them. I think they have a little bit of a better offense, just what they have the edge at quarterback. But this really is a toss up. I could see the reasons to pick the Eagles as well, and I'm just going right now off my best judgment. But I see I could honestly see the Eagles winning as well.
Who do you how much do you have the Chiefs winning by?
I'm going to say 28-24.
28-24? I'm going to say, well, as we talked about this week, I'm picking the Eagles to win. But it's not going to be, I see some comments, people saying, oh, they're going to steamroll the Chiefs. That's not happening. This is going to be a good Super Bowl. I think it's going to be a phenomenal Super Bowl.
Yes.
But because now we have teams, like we have a sample size of what the Chiefs are, but now it's a new face. And Jalen Hurts and this high-flying Eagles team that's been high-flying all season. It's going to be competitive. I think it's going to be physical. It's going to be exciting, but I believe roster-wise, I'm not talking quarterback-wise, roster-wise, the Eagles have the better roster. They have the bigger names other than the Chiefs. That doesn't mean that the Chiefs they have people that can, you know, do certain things, but it's just the way the Eagles have been playing all year. I have not seen, you know, them fall off, with the exception of Jalen Hurts taking that, you know, when he got injured and took those 2 games off. But when I look at this Eagles team, they've been dominant all year. And I didn't even see them blowing out the 49ers last week. I didn't even see that happening. It seems like every game I've seen the Eagles play, there's so many ways that they can win, which is scary because Jalen Hurts didn't throw not one touchdown pass last game. And you blew them out. That's insane. It's just insane what's going on. But this Chiefs and Eagles game, I'm glad it's new faces, that we're seeing the new generation starting to come up. I love seeing that because there's two young quarterbacks facing each other with a lot on the line. Jalen Hurts said, Jalen Hurts, I'm here now. I want to win. I want to be the new king. And then Mahomes is trying to take that, like that level of, okay, he's been to 3 now. He's been to 5 AFC championship games. So now, like, it's that conversation. Could he be in that same conversation with Brady? There's a lot of storylines that are going to happen in this.
I'm gonna see like who is closer because I'm having the Eagles by 7. Eagles by 7 points.
I'm gonna stay by 4. I'm not gonna exceed 4.
I would say 7 only because I think when it comes to the Chiefs at the end of the game, I know how they can, in short, manageable time, they can try to get the ball up the field. But I don't think that is going to be this time, only because I think they're going to miss a little bit of Tyreek being there.
And that's another issue too. Even though Travis Kelce's phenomenal, I mean, one of the best tight ends to ever do it. He's arguably trying to compete for being the best tight end to ever do it. But the Chiefs do not have that dynamic over the top threat the way Tyreek was a threat. I mean, even when he's down here with Miami, like, you have to game plan for someone like that. They can put him in many different positions on offense, and he was just terrifying defenses. But this could work to the Chiefs' advantage because now, okay, we're not expecting a Tyreek, but you don't know who could come up and just be like, oh, I didn't see this coming. Like,
he can have a big game, like
I'll give you an example. Marquez Valdes-Scantling, the receiver, he was with the Packers. Now I don't know where he started acting like that, going off like that, because he didn't do that for us. But he stepped up very big in the AFC Championship game. He had a great game. But the question is consistency. Can he continuously do that? Because this is a huge stage. You're in the Super Bowl. You are representing the AFC, so this is a big game. And then Andy Reid facing his old team. It's just going to be a lot. It's going to be really exciting. But we're going to go to a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about Kyrie Irving getting traded to Dallas. And LeBron James is 36 points away from breaking the all-time scoring record in the NBA. We'll be right back with the short break.
I'm Leon Thomas with the Leon Thomas Group. Podcast, virtual events, webinars, streaming shows, and so much more. We want to be your partner in all things virtual.
Welcome back to Jazz's First Impression Sports Talk. If you'd like to be a guest on my show, you can definitely go to my Twitter at JazzyS. If you'd like to catch up on my past episodes and you want to see a lot of my clips, you can go to my YouTube, Jasmine's First Impression Sports Talk, where I talk about all things sports, interviews, and a plethora of things. So let's talk about Kyrie Irving. Let's bring in Jeremiah. Let's talk about Kyrie Irving being traded to Dallas. Now, I was wanting the Lakers. I was wanting him to go to LA. Now, before our so I want to shout out Jamie Miner. He's somewhere watching, so I'm going to shout him out on this. So me and him were talking about this because he's a big basketball person. At first, I thought this was, that's good for Dallas. Now, he made me think, and I said, Luka is a ball-dominant player. He needs the ball in his hands a lot. Then you have Kyrie, who is also ball dominant, needs the ball in his hands a lot. How is this going to work? I'm not sure. Now, I think Brooklyn won this trade for sure, but now they're saying they're willing to trade Dinwiddie. Jeremiah, talk to me. What's your reaction to Kyrie Irving being traded to Dallas?
First of all, I think from both sides of the coin toss, it is a lose-lose for both teams. I'm going to say why. I'm going to first off with the trade of Kyrie going to Dallas. Now, for Dallas, you traded away 2 first round and a second round picks. Well, of course, they're going to be in 2027 and 2029. So you can say, whatever. But also two valuable bench players for Kyrie Irving, which I think that Kyrie is worth much more. Yes, but at the same time, you are still giving away some of your assets. Because let's look at the landscape of everything. let's just say if this season goes unsuccessful and both of these players, they need the ball all the time, but they don't get along, or they don't go to what is expected from the fans. So Kyrie can just easily just walk this off season and go wherever he wants to. And then Dallas, you're left with giving up something for nothing. And now Luka is just there by himself and having his LeBron years, early LeBron years, which is just expect him to carry that whole time. Now, quickly for the Brooklyn Nets. For me, the organization right there is all out of whack right now. Just like what you said, them about to trade away Spencer Dinwiddie just for what right now? Because they're already seeing that you're in a very desperate move to try to impress or try to keep Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant, his mind is already 2 feet out the door already. So I'm thinking right now that you need to start from scratch. Stop trying to chase for trying to make a big three. What you need to do is just start young and use your assets that you already have. Get rid of Ben Simmons and create a new name for yourself. Because right now, the Brooklyn Nets right now is just getting tied to.
That's another person. What? Ben Simmons? So is Ben Simmons more valuable to the Nets than Kyrie?
Nope. Kyrie is their main scorer.
Now, Ben Simmons is a good player. He is. But he has been a shell of himself for a while now, and I don't see him getting back to that same Ben Simmons we're used to seeing.
It's not coming back.
Nope. It's not. There's excuses with him. There's, he had the back stuff going on and mental health. I get all that because of the whole him shooting, afraid to shoot type of thing. But when I look at Brooklyn and when I look at ever since Durant left Golden State, it has been a disaster. It has been a disaster. And he didn't really leave on good terms with them anyway, because I know him and Draymond got into it. Remember that whole argument that they had. And then, of course, he had the injury, and different things like that. He had the Achilles tear. I get it. But him going to Brooklyn and him and Kyrie being friends, and he's thinking, my friend's coming here, and then James Harden is coming there. You had three of the most skilled basketball offensive minds, scorers of the basketball in history. You could not make it work. And the only one standing is Durant. Now, Durant is not a carrier. He's not going to be able to carry the team, especially through East right now when you have Milwaukee, you have the 76ers, you have the Celtics. I mean, just dominating basketball right now, those teams. Brooklyn is just out on the outside looking in. And do I feel bad for Durant? I really don't. I don't feel bad for Durant because, for one, you went to Golden State. You did what you did. I still don't agree with that because I'm not used to stuff like that. But you go there, you win your rings. Now the stigma is you need Steph. That's the stigma. And then for Steph to win a championship last year without you is a problem. That is a knock on your legacy. Your legacy is now tarnished because Durant hasn't been to the finals since he was with Golden State.
Yes.
Since he left Golden State.
Since that Raptors series. Yep.
And now people are going to be like, well, what's Durant going to do? He's going to go back? Are you going to go back to Golden State? Are you going to go somewhere? What is Durant's vision? Where is he going to go now?
But that's his fault. But that's his fault at the end of the day, because you started this off, Durant, by following the next person in order to be a leader in it. Because at the same time, he says, I just want to ball. I just want to ball. Where you was balling in OKC, you still wanted to leave. You was balling in Golden State. You still wanted to leave. You were just like, I don't care about nothing but balling. You was in those situations and you still went to Brooklyn. And now you have this dysfunction. You're blaming everyone else or the different players around you. You don't want to say anything. And you're just like, man, I asked for this. I want to trade. You can't have the easy way out all the time when you created this mess at the end of the day.
I don't even know where Durant can go. Where can Durant go right now that has a good system? Because even in Golden State, when he was with Golden State, that was a very good system for him because the pressure wasn't on him. There's so many different offensive weapons on that team. You had Steph here, you had Clay, and you had Durant. So, and then of course they had a very good bench. So it was a lot easier to not, there's a lot of pressure on him. They look at Durant, regardless if he wants it or not, they look at you as one of the top players in the league. Like you're the upper echelon type of player. You are up there. You're one of the faces.
Yes.
They expect you to have some sort of leadership and some sort of, okay, I'm it. I can carry this team. I'm putting this team on my back and I'm going to compete.
But for
Where's
you,
he gonna go? Where's he gonna go?
For you, if you had to give 2 or 3 teams, what teams do you think will fit in his way? For me, I would maybe say Washington.
Washington, no. We're talking, Durant needs to be on a team that has other stars.
So you would think something like the Celtics.
He would thrive with the Celtics.
He would thrive with the Celtics because he wouldn't have to do too much. He don't have to be a leader. The Celtics already don't have themselves a leader. It's just all the ballers on the team.
There's a lot of ballers. There's a lot of there, and that's what's so the system that the Celtics have right now. You have Jason Tatum who can go off at any moment. You have Jaylen Brown that can go off at any moment. You have Al Horford. You have so many guys, Marcus Smart, that can do so many different things. And I'm going to be real. I don't think the Celtics, even though I think he would do very well with the Celtics are a team that I feel doesn't need a number one alpha because for a while they've been very competitive. They've been very scrappy. They've always been like that. So when I look at it, even when Kyrie tried to go there and tried to be the big dog and the man, it didn't work. I think the Celtics thrive off of whoever has the hot hand, they just going to have the hot hand.
Now, the only thing I do worry about that in the future is just having that certain veteran that's just keeping them in check, just in case if they get off the rail or maybe they start losing. You need that motivator that's there. Right. Of course, you have a Marcus Smart, but you also need that, I would just say, a veteran on that bench. That's just like OG.
Would Golden State want him back?
To be honest, I think Golden State would want him back only because Golden State's future with their young stars looks so shaky right now.
Yes.
Other than Jordan Poole, I mean, he has his ups and downs, but when it comes to their development and their young players, it's just not there. Wiseman, not there. The rest of the bench that's going down, it's just a lot of them. They're still in the first stages, and they've been there for more than 3 years. It just can't be that in those forms. Because right now, I do feel for LeBron. He is over there in the Lakers, and he is like, listen, I'm trying, but help me out.
The Lakers, I'm a LeBron fan. Everyone knows that, but the direction the Lakers are going is just, I don't even know if the Lakers know their future. I don't even know if the Lakers, because you can't bank on Anthony Davis all the time because he's injured a lot. He's injury prone. And then Russell Westbrook, I like Russ. I do like Russ, but it's just,
you're depending on almost a 40-year-old LeBron to save you in games.
Yeah. But it's just when I look at Durant right now, I don't know where he could go that would benefit what he does.
Yeah, no.
Even though it was a very, very shaky move, him going to Golden State, but it was the best thing that could have happened to him in a way because of how they play offense and how they rotate and distribute.
Right.
Brooklyn had a dream. Okay, we have Harden, we have Kyrie, we have Durant, and it didn't work.
They had all the push. They had everything come their way. They had everything placed in their lap. They had a whole big three, like you said. Just didn't deliver.
Nope. But let's wrap up with the last topic of the day, which is LeBron James is 36 points away from breaking the all-time scoring record, which is held by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who was a Laker. Jeremiah, when will he break it? Tuesday or Thursday?
Oh, this is a good question. I do believe it's probably going to be Thursday. The only reason is I think that LeBron's gonna play it cool for this next game against OKC, but then that game against the Bucks, against of course Kareem's
in
old
LA,
team in LA, it's gonna be much more to him.
absolutely.
I know it's not hitting him right now because he's just going through the motions. He's like, it's cool to break it. He's not really thinking about it, but I know that's something that's really substantial, especially in his career. And it's just such a blessing to watch this because I'm never going to see a performance like this or a person like this to do it. Of course, you have your GOAT like a Michael Jordan, but the
Yes.
things LeBron are doing, like to see it in real time, you just have to appreciate it while it's here. And it's like the smallest things, not even just the championship rings, but these scoring numbers, to have this longevity to do what he's doing and being a standard for a lot of these players that's playing right now to keep your body in shape. Like on and off the field, just being a mogul and everything else, the points, I just think it's just going to be awesome. And I can't wait to maybe just even take pictures of video about it just to show my kids one day.
Yeah. And we have to make sure also that we, like you said, appreciate the players that we have right now. Even like we talked about with Brady before, it's a bittersweet moment because even though you may not be a fan of them, there's a lot of things you're not going to see again. I don't think that, like we said, I don't think how Tom Brady went to 10 Super Bowls in 23 years, we'll see that again. I don't think that, and then winning 7 of them and then breaking all the records and I don't think we'll see that again. And then even LeBron, he went to 10 finals. I mean, he was steamrolling through the East. We're not going to see that stuff again. So we have to cherish those things now and say, man, this person has been dominating for a long time. And I can't wait to see him break this record. It's going to be huge. Now, Michael Jordan is the GOAT. Though I'm a LeBron fan, I love LeBron. Michael Jordan.
But Michael Jordan is the GOAT.
LeBron is up there. It's hard for you not to put him in that conversation. It's just, I know they're going to keep talking about it with the finals because it all amounts to rings, but LeBron, Kobe, all those guys are it. They are it.
We're not going to see players like those again.
No, we're not. And it's sad because, Kobe's gone, Jordan's, he's up and, being the owner and stuff. LeBron, he's getting close to, retirement whenever he chooses to retire. But we got to cherish these moments because these guys, you're not going to get them back.
Oh, it's so emotional. Oh,
we're not crying. It's just, we got to cherish these moments, man. But that wraps up First Impression Sports Talk. Thank you, Cole. Thank you, Jeremiah. Thank you, Remy. Thank you for just continuing to give your support. Thank you for, giving your time all the time. But we're going to get into more sports topics next week because there's a lot going on in the Super Bowl. We're going to talk about that and what's going to happen. That's the biggest event right now is the Super Bowl. Everyone is paying attention to what's going to happen, who's going to win, who's going to take home the ring. So we'll see you guys next week. Hopefully LeBron breaks the record. See you guys next time.